Hey guys, Daniel here for HGN, and in 2017, Lionsgate will be blessing us with the reboot of the Power Rangers. Now, for those of you who weren't in the loop, yes, Power Rangers is getting a movie. And no, I'm not talking about the one with Ivan News, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you probably had a really bad childhood, never eaten peanut butter and jelly, and your parents most likely did not love you. But yes, Power Rangers is coming out with the movie, and it's going to be directed by Dean Israelite. Israelite. For those of you who know who Dean Israelite is, or what he's really been working on, the one he's most probably notably famous for is Project Almanac, the movie that is about kids going back in time. Now, probably not the most popular film, but it wasn't too bad. What does this mean for the Power Rangers movie? Should we be worried? Probably not. I mean, mainly because there's some good writers at hand with the movie. First and foremost, Haim Saban, the creator of the Power Rangers, is actually having his hand in the script writing. He's also had a couple of help with some names that you should already know. In this fine roster of writers, we do have Ashley Miller and Zack Stentz, both probably most notably famous for writing X-Men First Class, which was probably by far the best X-Men film. I mean, it's probably not saying much, but it's probably the best X-Men film so far. We also have John Gantz, who is known for Real Steel. You know, the other Hugh Jackman film with him punching giant robots? Not the Wolverine, but him boxing robots. Not physically, but him punching robots. We also have Matt Sazama, who is actually more famous for Dracula Untold. Now, I think that movie wasn't too bad. The story was pretty good, and I was kind of dialed in. Now, he didn't direct it, but he's the writer. So if you'd like the story for Dracula Untold, boom. And also we have Burt Sharpless. I suck at reading names. Sorry. But Burt Sharpless also on that team for Dracula Untold. And finally, probably the one who's probably got me a little more interested in the film is the writer Max Landis. For those of you who don't know who Max Landis is, he's actually the writer for, most famously, Chronicle. And if you haven't seen Chronicle, oh my god, you need to watch that movie right now. That was such a good film. That's probably one of my top 10 favorite movies. It's, in itself, a genre of superhero films. A really interesting take on the film, but honestly, on his own, Max Landis is a pretty good writer. And if anything's giving me hope for this movie so far, it's Max Landis. Because probably, Max Landis. Now on to the cast, because the cast is basically what is the meat of this film. If you do not like who the Power Rangers are, then you're not going to like the Power Rangers. I really enjoyed the 90s show because the cast was just super diverse and kind of stereotypical, but it was a bit campy at the time, but I still did like the way the cast was casted, because you had the Red Ranger, Jason, who was like the macho man, who was like the typical dude, bruh, muscles, shoulders up to here. Then you had Billy, who was like the other guy, but, kind of nerdy, because you gotta have the nerd in the group. The smart guy has to say something smart that no one understands. Then we had Trini, the Asian, no offense, but she was also smart. Kind of like Billy. And I like the chemistry that Billy and Trini had on the show, because every time Billy said something unbelievably intelligent, Trini was just like, basically this. I guess she was the only one who could really understand Billy. And I kind of hope they have that chemistry still going on in the movie. I don't know if they will or if they won't, because, reasons. But I really hope so too. And they have Zach, who, if you did not know, actually was missing a finger on the show. He had 9 fingers. If you don't believe me, go back to the show and watch it. It just blew my mind when I saw that. But Zach, man, Zach was the cool black guy of the group. If you didn't like Zach, I hate you, because I really dug Zach. He had like a style, he had like flair to everything. Even when he fought, he always had his hip-hop kudo, which he was the inventor of, and I also hope that they put that in the film. Now, and last but not least, we had the girly girl of the group, which was Kimberly, who was played by the only other person on the show that's had a career afterwards, Amy Jo Johnson, who's probably the only thing I actually remember now is a show called Flashpoint and a movie called Susie Q. I mean, she's not the greatest actor, but, she was probably the best of the bunch, which, again, not saying much. Now, Who we have playing for the Pink Ranger is Naomi Scott. Who's that? I don't know. A lot of the cast here is unknown. There's only one familiar name on here, and I'm honestly not sure why, but we had Naomi Scott, who was probably most famous for The Martian. And even then, I don't know who she was playing in The Martian, but she's in it. I mean, that's good. We also have playing Becky G to play the Yellow Ranger. Now, Becky G is famous for something, but I really don't know. All I know is that it was a big deal when she was casted to play the Yellow Ranger. If you know why she's famous, please tell me, because to me she's like a Paris Hilton who is famous for reasons. Or a Kardashian. I don't know. Someone tell me why she's famous. But she's playing the Yellow Ranger. Nah. Next on the list we have R.J. Tyler. Or, I'm sorry. R.J. Cyler. Who's going to be playing the Blue Ranger. Ironically enough, there was a change-up. He's going to be the black guy. Cool, that's fine. I don't have a big deal. If any one of you has a big deal with that, whatever. Get over it. Who cares? Who cares? As long as he fulfills the role of the nerdy guy, the smart guy, or the little awkward guy, that's fine with me. I mean, if they're going to be doing a reboot, they gotta have to stay somewhat true to the characters. So I'm kind of hoping that, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just as long as he's geeky and smart, and I'll dig it. That's fine. But R.J. Cyler, he's probably mostly famous for, I don't know. It shows up here as me, Earl, and the girl. And if you've seen it, you tell me how he does. Should I be excited? Next on the list is we have Lundy Lin, who's going to be playing Zack, the Black Ranger. Now, this guy has to be cool and suave. And again, we had an ethnicity change. And should I be worried? No, you don't need to be worried. If you see this guy right now, he's really, really suave looking. I mean, as long as he gets that hip-hop Jeet Kune Do, it's fine with me. I don't care. Finally on the list, played the leader of the group, the Red Ranger, the one that holds everyone down until the Green Ranger comes in, is Decray Montgomery. Now, again, I don't know who this guy is. This is pretty much a cast of unknowns to me to really be the Power Rangers, and honestly, that could be a good thing. I don't want this movie to be overblown with stars and heroes, because then it's just gonna be too much, you know? I'm gonna be seeing action stars and stuff. So I think having a somewhat unknown cast is really a good thing, because it gets us to kind of re-know the Power Rangers, to get reintroduced, and pretty much the whole point of a reboot. And next on the list is the villain. Of course, you can't have a Power Rangers movie without the villain, because villains are probably just as essential to the whole genre, to the whole series, as the Power Rangers are themselves, because the villains is what make a superhero, so you need to have a pretty solid villain. What I see here is that they're going with Rita Repulsa, which is fine. It's the reboot. It's the first villain. You gotta have the first villain for the first movie. So Rita Repulsa is gonna be your villain, but who's gonna be playing her? Well, they were like, there's not really any big names in this movie, might as well throw one in there, and they went with Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks is pretty famous for a few things. If you don't know who Elizabeth Banks is famous for, she's, honestly, at the top of my head, she's mostly famous for playing the Lego Movie girl, Wild Style, if you haven't seen the movie. But she's been in a whole bunch of things. She was the Lady Gaga girl from Hunger Games and just a bunch of stuff. She was also the girl from other movie. Just Elizabeth Banks. She's probably one of the biggest actors on the movie, and again, that's not saying much. Mainly because the next one, the person they chose to cast as Zordon, pretty much the go-to guy for the Power Rangers, the one in charge who basically gave them the powers, is, you know, the man who knocks himself, Bryan Cranston. That's right. I think the biggest name in this movie so far is Bryan Cranston. Am I happy about him playing Zordon? I'm not too sure, honestly. I mean, are they going to go the direction of the floating head still? If they do, that's gonna be kind of weird. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but Bryan Cranston. I mean, I even wondered that if they're even gonna cast an Alpha 5. It's yet to be announced. There's really a few more things casted, but honestly, that's pretty much the gist of it. Am I looking forward to this movie? Well, the child in me says yes. I would love to see the Power Rangers movie and see how it was done. A lot of things have been into controversy with the film so far because it's a Power Rangers movie and a lot of people just kind of wanted to be stuck to the lore, but at the same time, it is a reboot, so some things do have to change. The question is, are we okay with it? I am. Things have to change. A lot of people have been going back and forth about their suits. Now, the suits, to me, are okay because looking at them, you can tell they're Power Rangers. A lot of people look at the suits and they say, well, the red one looks like Iron Man. And you know what? So what? Back in the day of the Power Rangers, they could only afford so much spandex and maybe one good helmet. So, I mean, I'm sure if the cartoon was made today, originally produced today, they'd probably be a lot more armored up and it'd look a little bit more up to date. So with their new costumes looking really, you know, robotic, it's fine. Who cares? It's good. I like it. It's okay. You know, the way it's going to be happening, from what I understand, is that it's just going to kind of, I guess, reappear onto them, morph onto their skin as it should be, and that's fine. It kind of makes me wonder how the whole morphing thing's going to happen, because you can't just have the Rangers go, it's morphin' time, and then some kind of montage of the costume putting on them. I really am interested in how that's going to be done. But for the most part, I am pretty excited for the film. It's not something I'm so hyped about, but it's on my radar. I'm really going to go watch it when it comes out in a year from now. And I think it's going to be going good so far. It's really just a toss-up to see how it's going to turn out, because the concept of Power Rangers themselves is a little weird. I mean, if you've seen the show back in the 90s, it was kind of, you know, cheesy, kind of campy, but for the most part, it was okay. So let me know what you think about the whole casting, the whole idea of the film. If you even know who the Power Rangers are, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you share this video, comment, like it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But thanks for watching. I'm Daniel for HGN. I'll see you guys next week.